Good morning and welcome to the USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor. I am joined in studio today by a whole bunch of friends. So excited for a great conversation today. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning, Matt.
Are you fired up and ready for today?
It's Wednesday. Woo, yes.
It's actually every time we record this is Wednesday. So I don't know why you're so much more excited today than any other day.
It's a Woo Wednesday.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well,
It
that's
is.
awesome. I'm excited for a Woo Wednesday. So this is going to be a lot of fun today. We've got a lot of people in studio, which we haven't been able to do in a while. So that'll be great. For those of you who are new to the USA Cares podcast, let me tell you a little bit about it. So this is a chance for us to talk about all things veterans, to talk about a support network that helps people, not just who are struggling financially, but maybe just going through a tough time. It's a community of people, of like-minded people who want to support those who have supported us over the years. So tune in, subscribe, listen in each week. You're going to hear a little bit about some stories from veterans. You're going to hear about some companies that are helping veterans. You just kind of get a little bit of everything. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make this part of your weekly routine. So, Alexis,
Matt?
so we've got kind of a different episode today.
Yes.
So this is kind of cool. So we have talked a lot about veterans. We've had a lot of people on who shared their stories. We've had a lot of people on maybe talk about some overseas stuff. Last week we had on Cantor Fitzgerald, which is a really powerful story about September 11th. Today is a little different. So today we're going to be talking about military families and specifically military children. So we have joining us today Lexi Hedges. Good morning, Lexi.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And her mom, Alison Hedges.
Hello. How
And
are you
you've
all
been
doing?
on here before, haven't you?
I have.
So Alison is in charge of the Chapters program for USA Cares. Nice little plug here. The Chapters program is growing very rapidly.
Yes, it is.
Go to usacares.org to learn more about that. But good morning, ladies.
Good morning, Matt.
So, Lexi, are you excited for your first podcast experience?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be loud today, okay?
You sound like me. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Believe me, she can be loud.
I yell at Alexis all the time for not being loud enough, so I don't want to have to yell at you too.
Matt just likes to yell.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things when I came to USA Cares, I've known Trace Chester for a long time, and he used to always say to me, and it never really made sense to me, but he said, when the parents serve, the kids serve, and the whole family serves.
Very
Is that
true.
kind of your experience too, Lexi?
Yeah,
Yeah?
for sure.
So you grew up all over the place, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
So I was born in Missouri, the most boring place on earth.
People in Missouri aren't going to like to hear that.
No, a little disclaimer. No offense, Missouri. We love you all very much. No, you're
I
fine.
was born there. That's my home state.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we moved to Kansas, and we actually moved 2 times when we were in Kansas.
How long were we in Kansas? Not very long.
For 9 months.
9 months.
And I turned 1 there, and we
Yep.
moved because of me.
Why is that?
I'm allergic to mold.
Oh
and
my gosh.
The place we had, it was being renovated, and so we had to move into one of the older apartments.
Okay. Nice.
And then we went to Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for 3 years.
Yes.
And that's when my dad was deployed.
Okay.
And then
And your dad is a lieutenant colonel?
Colonel.
Colonel.
Retired now.
I said that wrong. I always get the titles wrong. Sorry.
You were close.
Retired colonel. Okay.
and then we went back to Missouri,
Okay.
and then that was
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
And then we went to Louisiana.
Okay.
That was really fun. And that was 2 years. And then Virginia,
Uh-huh.
and then here.
So what's it like? Were you going to ask? Go
I
ahead.
was.
Go ahead.
I
I jumped in front.
know.
You go
I-
right ahead.
I was going to ask where is your favorite place to live? I know, when you're a baby, you don't care or know where you are. But, in your older years, where's your favorite place to live?
Well, friends-wise, I loved Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
We had like 6 people, 7 kids within like 6 houses. And we were all best friends. We hung out like every day. We walked to school together. But if we're talking culture-wise, Louisiana was really fun. to
Love
live at.
Louisiana. No offense, Missouri.
We We liked Missouri for a whole different reason. So
Yeah.
It was, that was the chemical school, and that's what my husband did. So
that's cool.
we enjoyed that too, but it was different.
So I moved in my career. I've moved around a few times, and I'll never forget the biggest move we ever did. We had this, my wife and I had this great idea. Our kids were young, and we had this great idea. They loved Steak and Shake. Nice little plug for Steak and Shake. So we had this great idea. We're going to get the kids together. We're going to take them to Steak and Shake, and we're going to break the news that we're moving. Worst idea ever. For
Now
those
they
of
hate
you
Steak and
listening.
Shake.
Now they're scared to go to Steak and Shake. So what was it like when you got the news each time that we're packing up again?
At the beginning, I didn't really understand. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're just going to go. And then slowly as I got older, I remember in Virginia, it was my last day of school. I left the week before school actually ended.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember crying, like at school.
Yeah.
But then this last time, we thought, it was before my dad retired.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to leave Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember them telling me, and I had the worst reaction on the planet. I ran upstairs, and I started bawling my eyes out. So I was like, I don't want to go. I didn't want to leave again.
That's got to be hard. I don't like to move at all. I think I've moved 4 times in my entire life. I don't plan on moving again because having to pack everything up, you get settled. Like, it just takes so long to get established, and then you have to turn around and, okay, uproot and then go somewhere else.
Exactly. And this was also where, here in Kentucky is where their grandparents are and everybody else. So that was going to be a tough one.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were glad when we said, guess what? Your dad's going to retire and we're going to stay here forever. So that was good.
That's awesome. What's the friends situation like? Like, were you, I guess it's kind of a weird question, but were you nervous to make friends knowing that you might have to move again? Like, is that kind of a weird thing when you're growing up this way?
No, I mean, since I've moved so many times, it was kind of easy for me to, like, make friends.
Yeah.
Because I've had to do it so many times, I can just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You've gotten good at it.
Yeah.
I understand. That's cool. So how, a lot of times over the years, go back before you were born, we were talking about this yesterday, Allison. It had to be much different before cell phones, before internet, before
Yes, very much so.
ways to keep in touch with people.
Absolutely. And these kids, they're very lucky that they're able to keep in touch with the people that they've met all over the country. So,
Yeah.
and they do. I mean,
Do you still talk to them?
Yeah, I still have one of my neighbors from Virginia. I still actually talk to him every single day. We Snapchat, but
Nice. What's his name? We'll say hi to him.
his name's Caleb.
Hi, Caleb.
And
All right.
then I keep up with most of my friends from Instagram.
Okay.
And one of them actually recently just committed to play soccer.
Wow.
She lived here, actually, was Lauren Landry.
yeah.
Her dad was in the military, and she actually moved away from us here.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. And you play soccer. So did you play sports in all these different places too?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did that help you or hurt you to play with so many different people and so many different teams?
I think it actually probably helped me
Yeah.
because all of the different coaches,
Yeah.
like they all teach differently,
Mm-hmm.
and so I learned like the way that I kind of could.
Adaptability
Yeah.
is key
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Absolutely. So when your dad would, I imagine you probably all didn't get a lot of notice before he had to leave on deployments, right?
That is correct.
So, I mean, what's that like? So, I mean, do you find out a day before, a couple days before, a week before?
I would say his major deployment, we were very fortunate that he only had to be deployed once.
Mm-hmm.
We found out probably about a month, I want to say, before. And so they had to very quickly train and because they were doing a totally different mission than what was expected.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
But, when he would just go on small deployments, sometimes it was a week before, sometimes it was a couple days, and it would be, hey, got to go.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So.
And what was that like for you?
It was his major deployment. I don't really remember too much about.
Yeah.
It. I remember just a few select things.
Yeah.
But his other ones, it was just we were just kind of all used to it. We were like, oh, okay, Dad's gotta go.
Like a business trip.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like going on a business trip.
Yeah. But you didn't think too much about where he was going or what he was doing or anything like that.
I didn't want to.
Yeah. I understand that. I can imagine. So that's cool. Was there any contact with him while he was gone?
Didn't we Skype him?
We did.
Nice.
We did.
That's cool.
That was back in the day when it was Skype. You didn't have
Wow.
the FaceTime and all that kind of stuff. Oh, yes.
That's cool. Do you have any? I mean, what are some of the good memories growing up this way? Because I mean, imagine this is all normal for you, but for other kids who hear you moved to all these different places and your dad would disappear for periods of time, not knowing really where he was going or what he was doing, like that's going to sound pretty strange to a lot of kids. But it was just normal for you.
Yeah.
So when you're not on a base and you're going to school with kids who didn't grow up this way, how do they kind of react to the way you grew up?
They were like, oh my gosh. They would just ask me a bunch of questions. Like, where'd you move?
Yeah.
For like how long?
Yeah.
One of our favorite questions has always been, for the kids anyways, is, where's home?
Couldn't tell you.
Well, anywhere we live at any point.
At the moment, it's here, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
I guess that's got to be hard to keep, telling your story over and over and over, like Groundhog Day. You meet a whole new set of people, and you're like, well, I moved here, then I moved there, and my dad's in the military. Just you get really good at telling that story, I guess.
Yeah.
It's probably make it sound more interesting than that, but
That's good. So I kind of was a little bit the same way. My dad was in the Navy, and my brothers and I were all born in different parts of the country. So I have a brother who was born in California. I was born in Rhode Island. Another brother born in the Midwest. So it was kind of the same way. And I always thought that was just normal. That's just what people did. And come to find out, apparently it isn't. So, but it's kind of a fun way to grow up too. And just all the experiences you get along the way and all the different people that you meet. Now, did you all live on bases?
Everywhere but Washington State. We lived right outside of it. And then Virginia.
Virginia, correct.
And
Because
here.
he was actually stationed at the Pentagon, so you definitely don't want to live there.
Wow. Did you ever get to go visit the Pentagon?
Yes, I've been there. I went there twice with him and then once on a field trip for school.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. So what's it like living on a base?
It was just kind of normal to me.
Yeah.
Everyone was like me, so I didn't really understand
Yeah.
that people weren't like me. I was like, oh, all these people are going to move in a few years.
Tell them your story about when my mom, which they call Gran, when she came to take care of them. I actually had to go with Blaine on a trip, and so she came and took care. Tell the story.
So on base, every day at 5 p.m., they call it a retreat. It's when the flag lowers. And everything stops. You get out of your car.
Really?
Yeah, you just stop where you're at.
And this is normal to the kids. They think nothing.
Yeah.
of it.
I didn't know
And
this.
So
Wow.
it started playing, and we were on a walk, and Gran got kind of confused. I said, I couldn't pronounce my R's, so I said, turn around and put your hand on your heart. We still to this day talk about that story.
Nice. That's so cool. No, I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
really, so that happens everywhere?
Everywhere.
Did you know that?
no.
I didn't know.
Well, at least within the Army. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I assume it's within all of the.
Oh, that's
militaries.
wild.
Are there any other like neat daily
So
things that they
think
do on the
it's-
base?
I can't remember what time it is, but they have, it's called Reveille in the morning. So that's when they put the flag up. And I can't remember if it's 6 or 8 or what time it is in the morning. But so that's every day. But most of the kids were usually asleep, so they never even knew that was happening. And then every day at 5 o'clock. And it
I
is.
had no
I mean,
idea.
even if you're driving your car on the post, you would stop.
Now, do they
And you would
sound
get
like
out of your car.
an alarm, or is it? Do they play?
It's a song, basically, and it goes over all the loudspeakers throughout and we lived the street that we lived on in Missouri, which is where she's talking about that this happened with my mom. they had a loudspeaker right at the end of the street. So it was very loud. You knew. You knew.
Wow. That's wild. So best and worst things about growing up this way?
The best is probably all.
Other than Missouri. We won't talk about that.
It was probably the best was probably making all those friends and like seeing all the different like cultures. Like
Yeah.
I would call different, like I still call like lightning bugs fireflies sometimes because that's what they were called somewhere else. And
Yeah.
people were like, you call it that and just stuff like that because, I mean, that was
Yep.
normal where I used to live. And then making friends was really, really fun too.
Do you say soda or pop?
Coke.
Oh, God.
She's lived here too long.
She's like you, Alexis.
Oh, I don't call everything a Coke.
Yeah.
I'm from Georgia, but I think I say soda. My parents say pop because
Really?
they're from Michigan.
I refuse
My
to
dad's
say
like, get me a pop.
Why?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
I say soda.
No,
It's not
soda.
Coke.
If it's not a Coke,
No.
it's a soda.
I remember being in Atlanta and somebody said, what kind of Coke do you want?
Exactly.
You want Sprite? Do you want,
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
In Atlanta, that's the heart of Coke. So.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know,
it is.
I know.
Exactly. You would expect nothing different there.
Yeah. So that's cool. What other things would you tell people about growing up in a military family?
The things people say. It's like, I remember one time we were at Subway, and I was just saying, like, please, thank you, because that's just kind of how I learned. She was like, wow, she's so mannered.
And you're like, I didn't really have a choice.
Exactly.
That's good. That's good.
I think that is definitely something so many military children, that and the yes ma'ams, yes,
Yeah.
yes ma'am, no sir. I mean, it's just habit, and they don't think anything of it.
Yeah. It's just part of the culture,
Or
right?
the culture
An expectation is very there.
exactly right.
Yeah.
It's an expectation.
So I want to circle back to the worst. I don't like to be a Debbie Downer, but like, what
Yeah,
is
way to
the
go,
most
Alexis.
challenging? Like a challenge.
There you go. That sounds better.
But like the thing you like least about either living on a base or.
Well, it was really hard to grow up, like, without my grandparents there all the time, because, like, all my family lived here. And we'd only get to visit, once or twice a year, maybe.
Yeah, probably usually
that.
twice. Well, depending on where we lived.
Yep.
And they'd, like, miss birthdays, Christmas. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. And
Mhm.
that's probably because of how long I was gone from everyone, that I just like to be around.
Everybody, like every single
Yeah.
family member you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference, and people don't really think about that very much. Just the little things when you've just got to run to the grocery or something, and you need somebody to watch your kids, and there's no family there, so it does make it difficult, especially when you're across the country.
So housing on base, is that, I have a couple friends who lived on bases, and from what I've seen in pictures, they're like these cute little just cute cookie cutter houses. They look exactly the same, and you look like you're on the Truman Show. Like, what does it look like? What does the rest of the base look like? Do they try and make it seem or feel more like you're living in a neighborhood as opposed to, an army base, or like, what does that look like?
I would say so. What do you think?
Yeah. And I remember, most people are really close. Like in Louisiana, is it the Gazidlo?
Buzzidlo.
The Bazidlo. That's what the street we lived on. And some of the guys there, like, played instruments. So when they opened their garage, they called it the Bazidlo Band. And everyone on our street would bring food, bring drinks, and we'd have like a little concert out there.
That's really cool.
It was fun. But yeah, I would say that each little neighborhood, it looks like just anywhere else. And then, you've always got your grocery store that they call the commissary, and you've got a place that's kind of like a Walmart. It's called the PX or the BX or whatever, wherever you live. And so, yeah, they've got banks and everything. It's its own little community.
So you don't ever have to leave.
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want
Are
to.
you allowed to?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have school in them? I'm
Yes,
completely
I
ignorant
went
of.
to, it was in Louisiana. I went to Fort Polk.
Fort Polk Elementary.
Yep. And that's exactly where we were. We were in Fort Polk, Louisiana. And I went to elementary school there, in Fort Polk Elementary.
And it was right down the street from us, but she still rode a bus.
I did. I do remember that.
That's
Give
cool.
a little bit of normalcy,
Yes.
like that normal.
Most places, most military bases or posts or whatever, do not have high schools, but most of them will have elementary and middle schools, and most of them are not run by the DoD. Most of them are part of the rest of the community outside of the post. So,
When did you start playing soccer?
Was I like 4?
mm-hmm.
I went after my sister that played, and I fell in love with it, and I haven't stopped.
Yeah, I hear you're a soccer star now. I have 2 little soccer stars of my own. So I always,
And you always manage to put in a plug for them.
of course,
Every
I
time.
do.
As well she should.
Hi, Miles. Hi, Sadie.
Mhm.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you both was, I always have to monitor growing up. I always had, not growing up, but while my kids have been growing up, I've always kind of monitored what they see on TV and what they watch. And because I didn't want them to get freaked out about the news or anything else going on. I imagine in your cases, that was even more so. And Allison, maybe for you, it's where maybe you don't want them to see all, especially if he's going to be deployed or something like that. You
Right.
don't necessarily want them watching the news and seeing
What's
some of
funny
these
is
places
I have
of the
never
world.
really thought about that. But now that you say that, I definitely shielded them from seeing and hearing certain things. I mean, it was part of their daily life. I mean, they knew. I mean, you could hear training going on, down the street.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't mention when we lived in Kansas, we actually lived at Fort Leavenworth, and so the prison was right behind us. It was kind of a running joke.
Oh, man.
It could be very scary, if
Yeah.
somebody actually escaped. I don't think that they would be dumb enough to actually come towards a base. However,
Yeah.
that it was something to think about. And we joked every day because you could hear the loudspeaker, and we would talk about.
You could hear the speaker from the prison from your house.
Yes, you could.
Oh, that's comforting.
And she
Nice.
doesn't remember any of that because she was just a baby. But yeah, that was kind of a running joke. But definitely when he was deployed, I don't think I really had the news on and things like that because they would worry. And
Yeah.
they just didn't need to. They were too young. They didn't need to know that.
Well, I always kind of wonder about that. I mean, especially right now with all the stuff in the news and the
Right.
24-hour news cycle that we live in. It's got to be really tough. And I think a lot of families are probably shielding and being very careful of that to not give that anxiety to their kids.
Right.
Or even if you do, like, how do you discuss that if they go to school? Because now, like you said, there's other kids who
Right.
her parents maybe don't shield them, or they
Yeah.
just watch everything and they see all that. How do you, approach that situation and like talk to them? Because I know my kids sometimes bring home questions and I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I guess it's kind of that's difficult, and I'm sure that I sat them down and they understood that he was deployed. As a matter of fact, there was one story when he was actually deployed to Afghanistan, and Lexi was really young, and she wasn't in school, so we had gone to lunch. Actually, I think I was out of town, and
I was
you
being
were at lunch.
babysat.
Yeah, and you were at lunch with some families. And one of the girls was just slightly older than her and had babysat her and things like that. And they were sitting at lunch and they were carrying on a conversation. And Lexi said, well, my dad brought us here last week or, a few days
Mhm.
ago or whatever, because she had no concept of time. And
Oh, wow.
that older girl was very worried that Lexi didn't understand that her dad was actually gone
yeah.
Wow.
for a while. And so, of course, her mom explained to her, well, she really doesn't have any concept of time. She's too young, but she understands. She knows that her dad's away,
Yeah.
in combat. But, they were she knew very limited things.
Wow. Do you have any good memories of like interactions with your dad while he was gone?
Not really. I don't think
Not
so.
really.
What about your story of what he sent you?
Oh, yeah. So for my 4th birthday, this is actually one of the few things that I do remember. I remember my 4th birthday. I got a little present from my dad,
Mhm.
and I actually just wrote my senior letter about it, or my senior
Your college exam.
Okay.
college
Yeah.
College
essay.
essay.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I wrote my college essay about it. It was a little stuffed dog. I loved stuffed animals when I was younger, and its name's Doggy. It's very,
Very
original.
good name. Very
Yeah.
good.
Very
name.
original.
A 4-year-old would definitely create that.
Makes sense, you know.
At least you didn't name it Cat. So.
Yeah. And Doggy's just come with me everywhere. Doggy was my best friend growing up.
That's awesome. And your dad sent him to you from Afghanistan? Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's so you still have him?
Yes.
Nice. You should have brought him.
Is he going to college?
He could have been right here on the
Probably.
table. That's cool.
I'm sure it'll go to college with her. I would be shocked. It might not actually sit on her bed like it does now.
does
but
Yeah.
Yes.
So what would you tell, Lexi? What would you tell somebody who's growing up kind of the way that you did, but they're growing up, maybe they're a bit younger than you. They're coming up. There's all this stuff going on in the world right now. There's all these challenges. They're going to be moving around. What kind of encouragement or what kind of things would you say to those kids right now who are coming through life kind of the way that you did?
I would say just enjoy it, because as much as we've talked about the down stuff about it, it was awesome.
That's
Like
cool.
growing up and so many different places and being in all those friends and
Yep.
different schools. It was awesome.
Well, and it's interesting to hear you say that, because I think a lot of people who have never gone through it would assume, oh, that's got to be awful, and the kids are crying all the time and sad. And no.
All three of my kids, they've always thought that was a very positive thing to be moving around. It makes them very adaptive.
Yeah.
And then you have friends, you have this huge network of friends. And I think that's something that we talk about a lot on our podcast is
Right.
creating a network. And even though you may not, remember all of them, or you don't connect with them often. I mean, my very best friend in the whole entire world when I was in first grade, first friend I had, moved away in second grade. And she moved, I don't even remember where she moved. We were pen pals.
Oh,
For
that's
the longest
funny.
time, we would write letters back and forth because that's what we did. way back
Lexi
in
doesn't
the day.
even know what that is.
I know. We had to actually write with a pen, stick a stamp, take it to the mailbox.
And then wait for one to come.
Yeah. It was exciting though. But now we've connected on Facebook and Instagram, and her husband is I think he's a Marine. And it's really interesting to follow her story. And we're like, oh, I missed you so much. And I forgot, so that the world now, you can find all those people that you used to know just by a
Absolutely.
simple internet search. So that's kind of cool that you've got this, nationwide network of friends that you've collected over the years.
I think
That's
that's
awesome.
the best part.
Yeah, that's really cool. And, the people thinking about, maybe thinking about going into the military and looking at it as a career, I think it's important to remember there's a stigma that it's difficult from the family standpoint. And I'm sure that there's parts of it that really are, but there's also a lot of really good things about it too. And there's also, it's a unique way to grow up, but it's a pretty special way to grow up as well. And so embrace it, right?
Absolutely. And one of the things, as we were just saying earlier, that you don't have your family there. On the flip side of that, you have an instant family the second you move. It's kind of, I guess everybody got so used to not knowing anybody or kind of the, what do we do here? Or where do we go for this? That is, everybody is so open to help you out. And
It's like an instant pact that
It
if
is.
you
really
ask them
cool.
for anything, they're there for you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool.
yeah, even in Virginia, when your sister hurt her lip, and we hadn't even been there long enough to know where the nearest ER was. We had a neighbor that said, "Hey,
Yeah.
you've got to go here." So
That's cool. Well, good. Well, and that's why, we wanted to make sure we had you guys on today. This is just a really unique perspective. And I think we've talked about the families so often without actually having the families on. So this is really cool to have you all on. And just know that when you're supporting organizations like USA Cares, and when you're helping, you're not just helping the veteran, you're helping the whole family. And when a veteran or active duty goes through a difficult time, they're not going through it alone. Their spouse is going through it. Their children are going through it, because even if they don't know what the problem is, they still feel the pressure. They still feel the stress. They still feel all that. So when you do go out of your way to volunteer and help veterans or to give financially, you are helping the whole group. You're helping the Lexis of the world. So definitely get involved today. So Alison or Lexi, any last things that you would want to tell people about growing up and living the military life?
We enjoyed every second of it. We really did.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, you know, there were some bad things that, you know, with everything in life.
It's just life.
But it's just life. And we, like she said, we didn't know any different.
That's
so
awesome.
It was good.
That's awesome. Lexi, do you want to apologize to the state of Missouri?
I'm really sorry. I'm upset because my sister, she was born in Hawaii.
Oh.
And then my brother, he was born in Maryland, which is like right by the D.C. area. And then I got stuck.
Wait a minute. You didn't get Hawaii?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Have you ever been there?
We visited when I was really young.
Oh,
very
okay, so
little
good.
bit, but
Well, you probably should get your parents to take
Sounds
you
like
back.
you need to go back.
Yeah. When,
we'll
Allison,
definitely
when
go
are you
back.
going to take her back, like this summer?
Well, it might not be this
Should
summer.
we go ahead and get it booked?
It definitely won't be this summer. However,
Yeah.
we do have to go back.
yes, that's what siblings fight about in the military. Is
Yeah.
Where you were
where
born.
you were born. Because, I mean, they literally called, it was Fort Leonard Wood. They called it Fort Lost in the Woods. That's what it was known as.
Oh, so you gave up the beach for the middle of nowhere.
Yes, the middle
Awesome.
of the Ozarks.
Oh, that sounds good.
Survivalist.
My daughter Anna Grace is still mad at me that we lived in Florida near the beach when she was so young that she can't remember it.
Right.
So she still holds that against me too. So I get it. I understand. Well, thank you. Thank you both for being on here. It's a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed your first podcast. You gonna come back?
Probably.
Awesome.
And
Nice.
take my spot.
No, you've been trying to quit for how long now, Alexis?
Since I started.
I know. And look at you now, right? You're an old pro now. So it's no big deal. I want to mention something. So one of the reasons that this podcast has been able to take off and grow the way that it has is because of our good friends at the Speakeasy Podcast Network by Wayne Media Group. And I want to make sure that I mention them today and just thank them. This has really been something for USA Cares that has been unique. It was something that we came into that we didn't know a lot about, this whole podcasting idea. And what it's turned into has been something really special. And it's turned into building a community that can't necessarily get together, but can be together each week to listen, to share stories, to share experiences. And the feedback we're getting back is phenomenal. It's really given us a networking opportunity that we otherwise wouldn't have had. And our friends at Speakeasy have introduced us to that. So we want to thank them so much. But if your company, your organization is looking at possibly doing this and looking at the benefits of it, just know it really does open up a lot of networking opportunities. It gives you a chance to have a reason to spend some time with people and get them to open up and share with you. So I would highly encourage you to take a look at it, to consider it. Wayne Media Group and Speakeasy Podcast is in Brighton, Michigan, Louisville, Kentucky, and Sterling Heights, Michigan. And you can learn more about them at speakeasynetwork.com. So definitely check that out today. Consider doing that. Really good people who are doing some very, very good things. So Alexis,
Matt.
I know that if somebody wanted to learn, she hates it when I do that. She gets so mad. She's like, what's coming? So I know if somebody wants to learn more about USA Cares, they can go to usacares.org.
Yes.
And I know that we've got a pretty good social media thing going. Where can they find us on social media?
You can find us on all of the social medias.
Okay, don't do that. Maybe give a couple
Facebook.
examples.
Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Where else?
Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah,
You're
well,
on
you're in
Twitter.
charge of social media, so I was kind of
know.
hoping you would get this right.
I feel like I always forget one, but Facebook, Twitter,
Lexi,
all of them.
aren't you going to start? What's it called?
I'm going to
See, I sound old right now. I'm like
TikTok.
TikTok. So you're going to do some TikToks for us, right?
For sure.
Nice. Maybe today before we leave.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All right,
That'd
cool.
be awesome.
There we
I'm
go.
not on TikTok.
We'll get that going.
Me neither. I'm not there yet, but I get TikToks. I receive them daily.
Yeah.
many times a day, sometimes for my children. So
Awesome.
My daughter
maybe
loves the dances.
if USA Cares gets a TikTok, I'll have to join.
We're going to have one today because she's going to
Let's
set
do
it
it.
up real quick so that Lexi can make the first one.
Let's do it.
All right, we're going to do that right here. So learn more about USA Cares. We are doing a lot of work with a lot of veterans who have a lot of needs. We get hundreds of requests for assistance every week. And to be honest, the need outweighs the financial ability to help. So get involved today. Become a monthly donor. If you can pledge $25 a month, it makes a huge difference in the lives of not only the veterans, but as we talked about today, the families as well. So make sure you get involved, do your part, look for ways to help in your community. Allison, we have
Yes.
chapters all over the country.
Yes, we do.
What's going on with chapters?
We're growing fast and furious. We've got 10 active now. No, 11. We now have 11.
We now have 11.
We now have
Absolutely.
11, and looking at probably 5 more, possibly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Before the end of the year,
Absolutely.
and then many more at the beginning of next year. So.
It's really been wild to have people reach out the way they have.
Yes.
And we talk about this a lot on the podcast. Hey, if you want something in your area, reach out, contact us. Let's get it going.
Absolutely.
So now we're looking at Fort Campbell.
Yes, we are. That
And
is our
I'm
newest.
so excited about Fort Campbell. And I
Yes.
tried to get there yesterday, and the interstate was closed, and I couldn't get there.
Oh no.
Well,
But
Matt hasn't had the best of luck with interstates lately. So
Oh, we could have a whole episode about that.
yes, we could.
Yeah. But
Next episode. Right?
Next episode.
next episode. Next episode.
Matt's travel.
For all those Seinfeld fans who enjoyed the Festivus episode, we're going to have an airing of the grievances. But
We've also got Minneapolis coming up.
oh, I hope so. Yeah, I think that's coming really soon. The interest in Minneapolis, St. Paul, with some amazing people, is going to be really cool. I will go visit their events in the summer. I'm not going in the winter,
I don't know
but
why
I will
you
go
would
in the
wanna go
summer.
there in the winter.
I don't know.
You don't,
I don't know.
enjoy 15 feet of snow?
Not really. No, I'm kind of a wimp, so don't really like that much. But we
Didn't
got
you tell me that you spoke with someone possibly in Honolulu? We could go there.
so
I'll go.
boy, Lexi, you just jumped right in on that one.
Sacrifices.
So somebody might
Yes.
have to go to Honolulu to help with that.
That would be absolutely horrible.
But we had a conversation. Was that yesterday? Or was that 2 days ago? Might have been 2 days ago.
Concept of time.
With a gentleman who will be on the podcast. Oh gosh, I'm going to get it wrong. Is it next week?
We're recording.
Very soon.
Yes.
He'll be on the podcast very soon. A 35-year Marine vet who lives in Honolulu. And he's been kind of sharing with us a little bit about the community, the military community in that area and how strong it is and the need for something like one of these chapters. And so we're looking at getting that going. And apparently Lexi's going to go check it out for us. So...
She'll need an escort.
But Fort Bragg, North Carolina, that's another one.
Yes.
That's looking
That
really
was
strong.
Very exciting. There's a
So,
lot going on at Fort Bragg.
oh my
so
gosh.
Always.
So look, I'll go to usacares.org, click on chapters, learn where the chapters are around the country, and see if there's something near you. If there is, contact them today. Get involved. If there isn't, contact Alison, Alison, at usacares.org. Everybody spells her name wrong. But contact her and say, hey, I'm interested in getting something going in my area because not only do I want to help, but the people in my community need that support. So let's put that together. If you are listening to the USA Cares podcast for the first time, make sure you subscribe. We would love for you to make this a part of your weekly routine. It's really an honor for all of us to be with you every single week, and we hope you'll tune in again next week. Thank you all so much.